What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Scythe, and we are back again for another Trove patch notes. Yes, and we've got a very exciting patch, which is absolutely perfect because the past few weeks, these patches have sucked, man. They have not been that good, but today, this one is awesome. Now, a little bit of a heads up, this is probably going to be a longer patch video, as you will see with the timing down below. As far as prizes today, we don't have that much crazy stuff because it's a patch video, and I figure that today's prize is just the patch itself. But just for kicks, we'll be giving away a pen block to somebody who smacks the like button, is subscribed to the channel, and leaves a comment in the comment section down below, and then I'll choose somebody at random and you will win this beautiful pen block. I would craft it into something else, but I don't have the resources. Now, without further ado, Lunar Lancer is now live. Look at this guy, he's beautiful. Links in the description for a class tutorial on this guy if you want to know anything about him, because otherwise I'm just gonna kind of skip over it. This fast and foxy fighter can throw spears and grapple to them, support their allies by dropping an area effect buff, and while fighting can transform into a stormtrooper. They don't actually say that, but he does. Just check out the video, you'll see what I mean. An all-new weapon comes with this class, of course. It is the spear. Unfortunately, he doesn't actually use it with two hands, so it's more like a fork or a knife or a shank than a spear. Like, I don't know. He's stab man. Let's just call him that. Lunacy pack is now live. I will have a video on that, maybe, hopefully coming out today as well. But anyway, the Lunacy pack, which doesn't seem to be here right now. Okay, whatever. It comes with the Lunar Lancer himself, like the class. It also comes with two of his costumes. There's this one that we're rocking right now, which I very much love, that cape that's, or the cape or scarf or whatever, and then there's this one right here, which is a very buff, like warrior type costume. I very much love the fact that for once the devs actually went out of their way to make these costumes, you know, something cool instead of just a color palette swap. So that's very, very cool. Just a side note, on the PTS server there was actually another extra costume, so that means the code for an extra costume for this class is in the game, although that costume isn't in the game yet. And then of course there's just a level 10 and the other one. Now also it comes with two mounts. So one of the mounts you're gonna end up getting is this guy. He's like the ice wolf. He's got ice video effects. And the other one that you end up getting is this guy, the fire wolf, the red one. Now I remember seeing both of these mounts like on the forums, like the mod forums, a very, very long time ago. So it's cool that they actually finally got them into the game. The other last two things that the pack does give, which are actually very, very cool, is you get legendary tomes. We'll get into these in a little bit, but as far as the pack goes, you get the codex, or chaos codex, which after 100,000 experience, you can get yourself 10 chaos chests. Now, it doesn't actually seem to say that anywhere, but these are weekly tomes. They do not, like, you can't just spam them and get 10 chaos chests every single day, only once a week. And the other one, of course, is dragon coins, which gives you 3 dragon coins when that is accumulated. Now, I don't know if a legendary tome falls under its own category where we could get 10 chaos chests and then not the 3 dragon souls or dragon coins. I would naturally assume that they're all probably on the same code. Then there's the tentacle tract and the eye one, but we'll get into those later. They also have their own little category for these ones for some strange reason. I'm not sure why. The Chaos one you can't buy unless you spend real money, and the one that gives the Dragon coins is ridiculously overpriced for qubits. By the way, a side note, just before we get to the next patch note here, I just want to say, just before I forget, if you log in and your qubits and credits and stuff are gone, don't worry, they come back very momentarily. It's just a weird little bug that ended up happening. Now, here's the biggest thing, of course, too. Oh, excuse me. Is Shadow Towers are now live. Shadow Towers replace Shadow Arenas. They are Shadow Arenas, except the only difference is that they have a new boss at the end, and these guys are really, really cool. So use the Adventurer's Crafting Bench to craft yourself a Shadow Tower portal. This is awesome because this is something, now people that have been around for a long time on this series know that this is something that I've said since day one. Well, maybe early day one, but thankfully these portals are very, very cheap. Only 50 Infinium and 5 Shadow Key Gems. And you can finally put them in your club. Oh my goodness. Seriously, that is awesome. So finally, shadow arenas are in clubs now. They do not exist out in the main world. You can never find them ever again. Those little portals that normally spawn with the shadow dungeons aren't there anymore. Use the adventurous crafting. Yeah, unlock normal mode using shadow keys and unlock hard mode using moon keys. Now, I'll explain this in a minute. So here's normal mode, which I've completed most of these, but I haven't done this one for this week, which we'll get into all of that in a minute. But these first ones right here just take shadow keys, and it shows right there 1 shadow key, 3 shadow keys, 5 shadow keys, and 5 shadow keys for the last one. Now, the way that you get moon fragments, these are to craft new keys, is U6 only. So you can still end up finding like keys and stuff like that just out of shadow caches that you find just in the shadow arena. But then eventually you can go to hard mode. Now this is ridiculous because these cost 1 moon key, 1 moon key, 2 moon key, 3 moon key. Now, even on normal mode, this Daughter of the Moon boss is absolutely ridiculously powerful. So I don't know. It's gonna be a long time till anyone actually completes it on hard mode. But anyways, each shadow tower floor is made up of 4 shadow arenas or dungeons, followed by the 5th floor, or 5th round, I guess I should say, being the boss itself. Yes, and you can defeat each floor once a week for unique rewards in the form of Titan Souls and Lunar Souls spent at the Shadowy Market at the end of each round. So you can see right here, this is going to give us 1 Titan Soul, 2 Titan Souls, 3 Titan Souls, and finally at the end, 1 Lunar Soul. And you can only get each of these once a week. The X being over it means that you're not going to get the Titan Souls. We can still redo this dungeon for speedrunner's sake, but we'll get into that in a minute. And then hard mode, as you can see, is it's completely whole separate area. So technically you could get 2 Lunar Souls in a week, but I swear this place is gonna have to be debuffed because it is just too powerful. It's impossible, like straight up. The first normal mode boss is already hard enough with, I mean, we had like 6 people full radiant or something, and it takes forever, man. So seriously, I mean, the fact that it takes people 300, is that 300 seconds? Yeah. 300 seconds is the fastest people have killed the Daughter of the Moon boss, because if you kill these bosses fast enough, as you can see here, people are getting absolutely ridiculous. You're gonna see too, like, see how all these people are all at the same time? That's because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them were all in the same area, probably all rocking radiant gear. But anyway, if you get into the top 100, which I'm not even close, I'm at like 21 seconds. But you'll end up getting yourself a purple name, and that shows up in global chat and just wandering around and stuff like that. But that's okay. We already have our mastery name, so that is fine. Now, hard mode boss floors grant 50% bonus to damage to any class that is the only one of its kind. This is reduced to 25% bonus for 2 classes and 0% if there are 3 or more. Now, what this means is that if you're in a hard mode dungeon, let's just say we go to the hard mode and we go here. Now, if there is 1 Draconis class in here, he's gonna have 50% damage bonus. If a second person has the same class, like the Draconis, then it's only going to be a 25% damage bonus for both those players. If there are 3 or more Draconis classes, then you're just not even going to get a buff. So it's a way of trying to force players to vary up the classes and stuff like that. Pretty cool, but not really that useful when there's only like a couple classes that are actually like really powerful in the late game anyway. So hey, whatever. As the Cthulhu earned from the shadow classes has increased slightly, the Shadow Tower has replaced the standalone Shadow Arenas and the Shadow Dungeons as well. Blah, blah, blah. Legendary tomes are now live. These tomes are worth 100 mastery points each and can be triggered once a week for a large number of resources. The Eye of Cthulhu one and the Tentacle one, you have to buy those with Lunar Souls, so you can only get one of those tomes once a week, which is kind of overpriced if you ask me. What else do we got here? Then there's, of course, the Chaos one and the Aura ones. I would recommend buying them from the $20 Lunar Lancer pack, but if you don't, then you probably shouldn't even bother getting it because it's gonna be very expensive. Now, another thing too is deal update. Rotating deals now refresh hourly instead of daily. There are no longer $5 rotating deals and instead are $20 and up. Now, you know how much I do not support the cash shop because, I mean, not many people do in general because these things are all like so overpriced. But pretty much like, as you can see right here, 50 minutes, and then this deal is going to swap over to something else. The deal right now is you're going to get 300 bonus lures on top of spending $99, which is definitely unheard of for even for cash shop games. Like, I think it should go up to $49.99 should be the maximum deal that they have, because $100, man, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have anything good to say about any of this stuff. But either way, the deals are swapping out. And they do have a couple other things. There is a new rare deal, which includes a class coin. I saw that earlier. Inventory space slot, which is okay. And golden chaos chest. Now, this is hilarious. I don't think the golden chaos chests are in the store yet. No, they are not actually in the good store, but you know it is only a matter of time, because that is how Trove Worlds thinks with a lot of these things. Now, golden chaos chests are pretty much pay to win, if you can say that, because Trove doesn't really apply for the whole pay to win thing, because everything's aesthetic. That's one of the reasons that I actually love this game and still think that it's such an awesome free to play game. Don't take these criticisms to heart as in not wanting to support the game and stuff like that, because I always buy these $20 packs, but I just don't think anything in the store is worth it. Now, these golden chaos chests, of course, you know, are eventually going to come into the good store. These pretty much guaranteed drop whatever the rare item is in the chaos chest. So you're only going to get rare items. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the weekly rare item, but just, you know, like Chaos Hound and Chaotic Wings and stuff like that. Seems like everybody left. Hello, everybody. Nice Trove. See that yellow name? That's another perk too that's part of this game now. Challenge and Dragon Caches update. Now, this is actually pretty cool. There is a new Ancient Dragon Cache, which is now earned through challenges and on the Trove store. New as in it's slightly changed. This cache has 3 times as many Dragon Soul chance, 2.5 times as many chance to get Dragon Coins, no Eyes of Cthulhu, and 35% less Flux, because you can only pretty much get Flux from the Shadow Arena now. It no longer grants Pentasouls as well, so you can't get those from Dragon Caches, but rarely does reward 5 coins or 10 Dragon Souls. So getting dragons is that much easier. Like, you know, you're not going to be able to get any Flux from it or anything, but you will be able to get that from Shadow Arenas or Shadow Towers, I guess I should start saying now, but that's such like a change, you know? But either way, the caches are so much easier. Everyone's going to be able to get dragons now, because not only are they extremely common, I mean, I got 10 Dragon Souls on like 2 challenges. They also have, they still have the previous Ancient Dragon Soul caches, but those are labeled as like Flux-filled Ancient Dragon Soul caches. So if you were holding on to your Dragon caches, you're going to want to sell them in a little bit, because they're going to go up in price like crazy. Challenges now only go up to rank 3, and completing this rank grants a full non-tradable Dragon Soul guaranteed. So that means for every challenge that you fully complete, you're going to get at least 1 guaranteed soul, not to mention all the other ones that you're going to end up getting. Uber 6 now grants a 4 times multiplayer instead of a 9 times multiplayer, so it's still worth it to go into Uber 6 for the challenges and stuff like that, but yeah, it definitely did make it only a little bit faster to do the challenge, but the point is that you get souls a lot more common. Baldness hairstyle has been added to the game. Then we got additional updates and fixes. Origin portals can no longer be opened in the Shadow Tower. This was causing people to teleport through walls and stuff like that on the PTS. I love that fire spear. I want it. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. I'll join the party. Look at that. That's so cool. Okay. There is now a new set of Neophyte wings earned at Mastery Rank 10 that are slower than the other wings in the game. The previous Neophyte wings are Adept wings and now are earned at Mastery 40. So pretty much new players are going to be kind of screwed. It does mean that new players are, of course, going to be able to get themselves some wings like at Mastery level 10. As you can kind of see, they're supposed to be red, but it doesn't really show it very well. They kind of look yellowish, but they're slower. They've got 75 movement speed, so they're not even as fast as a mount. But the fact that you can get wings 10 mastery points sooner, 10 mastery levels sooner rather, is pretty cool. But unfortunately, they changed it so that these blue ones, which are just your normal everyday wings that normally you got at 20, for some reason got bumped up to level 40. So that's very strange and a little bit tricky, because that means that new players are pretty much gonna have slow wings for quite some time. So a little bit disappointed on that one, but hey, whatever, at least people can get their wings faster. The Mega Skater is no longer available through Mastery and will now show up again later. The Mastery Recliner mount is now earned at Mastery rank 30. So that one that they're talking about there is this one right here, the Infinium Mega Skater. This skateboard, like, of course, if you already have it unlocked, they're not going to take anything away from you, your wings or anything like that. But this is actually not earned through Mastery anymore because they're going to actually move this reward up to a higher tier of Mastery, because I know they're going to bump up the Mastery very soon, and I'm assuming it's going to be bumped up to 250 because that's what the devs love to do. Okay, so what else do we got? Golden Shred final objective is now to hit Mastery rank 20 in challenge, and challenges are also unlocked at Mastery rank 20 instead of Mastery rank 30. So people at lower levels are going to be able to start hunting for their dragons a little bit sooner. Fixed a bug where inventory items could appear upside down, especially for Mac users. Mac users? I guess people who have Mac now can play. Apparently there's like a beta version of Trove for Mac now, so hopefully that means there's gonna be quite a few people, because I know a lot of people on the channel have had Mac and haven't actually been able to get into Trove, so I think that means that Mac is working? I remember reading it somewhere else, but it doesn't seem to say it in the patch notes. Reduced the count of consecutive days logged in needed in half for the consecutive days logged in badge. Now, consecutive days, for a lot of people that don't know, is how many days you logged in a row. So normally it was at like, oh, what was it? It's like 90 days or something like that. They bumped it way down to 45 days for the consecutive days. So that is actually not that bad anymore. We actually jumped up and got ourselves the beautiful, where are they? The beautiful Midnight Mantle wings, which Joe and Valor Warrior have had for quite some time because they already got it. I should have had these wings a long time ago. You know, I keep always saying it over and over again because the consecutive day badge kind of screwed me over. It was very buggy at first when they first put it in, and I kept logging in during the daily swap over rather than like when the consecutive day counts. So pretty much your local time, if you get on Trove before midnight, then you should be good for the consecutive days. So you gotta be on for 45 days. So that's actually not bad. It's just a little over a month instead of like 15 zillion months. Fixed extremely rare crash when merchant NPCs are attacked. Custom bindings for flask and adventure item slots have been reset. Untradeable dragon souls and other unattainable items can now be deconstructed for 100 glim, or untradeable, not unattainable. So if you end up having the maxed out dragon, you may end up getting your daily dragon soul. You can't trade it to anybody or anything, so unfortunately you're gonna have to deconstruct it for just 100 glim. Crafting music blocks now gives 3 music blocks instead of 1, so that's cool for a lot of people that do building and stuff like that. You can now rebind controllers through the settings dialog and set 2 bindings per action. Coolness. I'm guessing that is because normally if you set, like, let's say you're using an Xbox button and you set X to use your main attack for some reason, you couldn't associate it with being a build button or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Added new mappable hotkey for build mode called next slot for use with controller that select blah 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 blah. It means that you can go into build mode and you can actually select a button that will go over to the next category slot, because there's not 8 buttons that you could use for selecting them, so that's pretty cool. Hotkey binding has moved to the new settings category, hotkeys, and additional options for controller, including thumbstick sensitivity, have been added to the controller category. You can now connect a controller after starting the game. So that is actually disappointing for me on so many levels, because I don't use the native controller support of this game. It's actually really bad. Right now anyway, because there's no mouse support. So if you open up your inventory, guess what? You're gonna have to use your mouse. You can't use your controller 100%. So anyway, normally I use a program called Xpatter, and whenever I do, I would always just unplug my controller and replug it in every time I log into the game so that it doesn't like have 2 sets of controls going. So now that means people like me are kind of screwed unless there's like ways to lock out the controller or something. So yeah. Fixed errant cooldown sounds that triggered when changing classes multiple times. Setting the appear offline option no longer shows your current location or mastery rank to other people on your friends list if you are it shows to like you just appear offline like 100% now. Okay, wow, that was a mouthful. You can now view your current chaos factor in your character sheet. Let's press C. Where's our chaos factor? Where's our chaos factor? Oh, there it is. Okay, chaos factor. There we go. So in the stats menu, not just your character sheet. Ha 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 ha. Easy guy. Oh, there's the experience boost and stuff too. Okay, whatever. So now I finally know where all that stuff is. Add an option to the settings to enable client audio when the client window is in the background. So what this means is like when you alt-tab Trove, normally it goes dead silent. So now I guess you could change it so that it still has sound. Maybe because if you're trying to alt-tab and trying to listen for something. Community creations. Finally, we're getting near the end, everybody. I know this was a longer patch video, so bear with me. I know we were kind of just standing around as well. Community creations. New items have been added to the Shadowy Merchant. Chaotic Sail, Shadow Ray Mount. Oh, that's it. The Chaotic Sail and the Shadow Ray Mount. There's actually quite a few other things in the Shadow Arena now. Shadow Dungeon. A whole crap ton of shadow dungeons actually, and a bunch of new spears. Now another minor thing to actually point out is if you press K, that is a new key right now where you can actually just look at your Shadow Arena stuff without having to actually go into it. So you know what, just for right now, just because why not, we are right at the end of this video. Let's show you guys off. I want to show you all what we got for the Shadow Tower. Now the other thing too that you saw right there that's really cool is this arena is already open, like somebody already opened it, so we actually get to just walk right in it, no problem. This is actually perfect because I just wanted to get to the end of the Shadow Arena to kind of show you all what's up. Now, I don't know if we're going to necessarily fight a boss today in this patch video, ladies and gentlemen, but you are going to see me fighting them and doing Shadow Tower and stuff like that a lot more often within the series. Just because it's the new thing right now, but at the same time, I'm going to kind of be balancing that between free stuff. That was weird. I'm going to be balancing that between playing on our Lunar Lancer because we're going to have to grind him up. Now, if you come over into here is the Shadowy Market, which you can see right here. There's a bunch of new things. There's a new sale right here. There's also a new Manta Ray mount for 2 Hearts of Darkness. Scythis already has this. He pretty much looks the exact same as the other Manta Rays, except he's see-through-ish? I don't know. But anyway, when you end up completing, like killing a boss all the way at the end and getting yourself Titan Souls, you click this tab right here. And then you can actually buy yourself the Shaper's Dream, which costs 1 Titan Soul for this RNG chest. Or you can spend 3 Titan Souls for this other one right here. Now, the difference between these is, of course, as you can actually see, rarely contains a thrice forged Shadow Soul, and it actually has some flux and stuff like that. And then the other one right here can actually contain a Penta Soul, Quad Soul, and a crap ton of flux. I think it goes up to like 3,000 flux or something like that. And then when you get to the Lunar Souls, which I have 1 Lunar Soul right now, and remember, these are all weekly, so they're very, they're gonna be a tough cookie to crack. So you can spend 1 Lunar Soul to get yourself the Eye Tome, which gives you 300 Eyes of Cthulhu, which again is another legendary tome, so you can only do this once a week as well. Ew, they're really pushing this, aren't they? Or you can get 20 Tentacles for once a week, which is just not worth it at all because you can farm more than that in a week. Then there is the Lunar Veil, which is just a magic carpet, but it's got some new kind of transparent rainbowy effects. I haven't seen anybody rocking it right now. Nobody's actually going to be able to get this within this first week unless they can actually fight the ultimate boss on hard mode and get through it just fine. But otherwise, that's a very cool idea right there. Then there's actually also wings right here for 4 Lunar Souls. So that's 4 weeks or 2 weeks, depending if you can actually do hard mode. I haven't seen these wings. I've heard that they are very ugly. So I personally am hoping that they are very cool, but otherwise, if they're ugly, then I am going to save up for this guy, which is 6 weeks. My goodness gracious. Now, what this guy is, you know Squeakers, the mount that I made fun of because I love that guy. He's crazy. He's like, he's pretty much the only mount that can fly that's not a dragon. So he's very cool. Anyway, this is like a rainbow version of him. So very cool, but of course he's gotten that 6 Lunar Lancer souls. Now, if this dungeon wasn't fully completed, which maybe we should see if it is or not, it would be very cool if we could actually go in and get all the way to the end and fight the boss. Oh, it looks like somebody didn't actually activate this. So you know what? This is actually going to take a little bit too long. So I'm just going to kind of skip ahead so that we can get up to the boss. And I guess we will just fight one today. We're here. So once you get through 4 shadow arenas, you are going to get to this final room, and the way that you're going to tell that it is a boss is there's not really going to be anything else around. So here's the first boss right here, which is actually very, very easy. Lots of people still starting out at the game and stuff are going to have a little bit of trouble with them, but otherwise, I'm not sure if this first boss, I think he counts as Uber 1, because that's the thing about the Shadow Tower is they don't really mention the difficulty, or maybe they do mention it somewhere and I'm just not exactly sure about it, but I do know that it's like once you get to the Shadow Pinata boss, because yes, there is a Shadow Pinata boss, the Shadow Assassins are real, man, they're finally here. But anyway, that boss is Uber 6, so once you end up getting to the ultimate boss finally waiting for you at the end, of course, she is absolutely powerful and really reminds me, like I was doing a raid earlier with Scythis, Joe, and Valor Warrior, and a couple other people that just joined in at random. But very cool last boss, like very, very awesome battle, very much reminded all of us of like World of Warcraft and actually other MMOs. So it's very cool that Trove actually has something like this. The bosses are definitely the highlight. The rest of it is just shadow arenas, and it's kind of forcing you to do like 4 shadow arenas before you get to the boss, which isn't too bad when you're doing something like this or you have a big party with you. But otherwise, getting all the way to the end can be a little bit tedious. So anyway, let's do this because we can get ourselves 1 cash. Wow. We didn't get any more Titan souls because we are actually missing this guy right here, the Weeping Prophet, which it looks like people have done him in like 17 seconds. See right here, see how they're all the exact same time? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is a full group of 8 people, probably all rocking Radiant gear, or at least very close to it. So if you can end up getting a full party like that, you can definitely go through it, because that's the thing that's so tricky about these is whatever it is, like if you have a full group of Radiant gear in that fighting that first boss and you all have the highest DPS possible, then you're going to be able to get whatever the fastest record is, because that's the thing about Trove is there's not really much room for variables. It's just pretty much if you can lay on the hurt fast enough, everybody's going to all have the same time. So I don't know what they're going to necessarily do about that, other than I do know that they are going to be adding more and more bosses. Now, I'm actually not going to spend my Titan souls because I can get 2 more right here, although we are not going to do that today, and then I'll be able to get myself one of those more expensive chests, which will probably give me nothing. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this patch video, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very awesome patch. Made things a lot more exciting. It's very, very cool when they actually add content like this, rather than just like 50 experience bonus and stuff like that. So I would very much love it if the devs would kind of hold back and only do monthly updates like this. That would be so awesome. But anyway, that's it for the patch video, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you all so much. If you found the video helpful, I would very much appreciate it if you would smack that like button. It really helps me out. Subscribe, share, and favorite, and subscribe again. Oh no, to join Team Pixel. Sayonara and stay epic, everybody.